Hey, my name is Webby, and welcome to the Soulfire Inspiration Podcast. I just thought that I'd share some thoughts that are inspired by the last episode, which is episode 6, and it was about this question: what do you really need? And in that episode, I discussed a lot about how certain needs are masked under things that we think. So, for example, finding yourself in a situation where your belief is that you need money to solve a problem, but that isn't necessarily the first need that should get taken care of, but it could possibly be the need for peace. And then in being able to calm your mind and calm your heart and get into a place of balance and steadiness, or peace if you like, then the issue of money gets put in its proper perspective. I realize that that's a very relative thing for different ones of us, so you'd have to see how that works in your context. But kind of drawing from that reflection and just thinking around that thought process, the thing that I've been thinking about over the last couple of days is not necessarily just about the needs, things that you want to acquire or come into the possession of so that it can either solve a problem or make something happen, but sometimes even just from an emotional place. Have you ever found yourself feeling really moody or upset or irritable, but you can't really say why? When you give it some thought, when you try to burrow down to the bottom of things, you don't really know why. It's not obvious why it is that you feel the way you do. That's another thing that I'm beginning to realize is just as important as being able to decipher or to discern or to distinguish the thoughts or the feelings surrounding the other needs that I just referenced a few moments ago. I've found that sometimes we project in one way, but the underlying problem is something very different. For example, it's very possible to be very mad at someone, but the person you're really upset at is yourself, because you're either guilty about something, or you can't stop some thoughts from swirling around in your head that are tormenting you, or you just didn't succeed at some effort or something that you tried to do, and now it's coming out as frustration, and that frustration is aimed at the wrong people, or in some cases the wrong things. It's important to also be able to sift through some of the reactions that you have, along your experience of life, and understand what the triggers of those things are. Every time I find myself feeling super anxious about stuff, learning to slow down my reactions, learning to slow down myself and ask this question: what is making me feel this way? What is making me react this way? What is making me do the things that I'm doing right now? More often than not, and if I'm being really honest, because again, you can't lie to yourself. It's not like as if the internal you doesn't really know what the problem is, or wouldn't arrive at the problem at some point, given some honesty. You'll be surprised to find that it's something very unrelated to the thing that you're doing outwardly. And once you get down to the bottom of whatever is triggering the reaction or the feeling that you have, then you can begin to really address the issue and hopefully resolve that so that you can regain balance in your life. I just thought that I'd share that with you. I think it's a really wide subject. I think there's a lot to think about where that's concerned. I think it's an entire process altogether. For some, it may be easy because, they wouldn't necessarily struggle with just being honest and, maybe even admitting it to someone else that they trust, what their real issue is. And I think that that's another very important thing to do. Maybe this is not entirely a process that you can go through on your own. Sometimes you need to bounce off your thoughts and feelings on a sounding board, someone who can help you work through it, someone who can help you think through it. And you should be willing to hear what they have to say, because they also would have a perspective, because they're on the outside looking in, so they see things a little differently from you at this point. So I think this is a thing for reflection. Just think about it, and see, where do you lie on this spectrum. Maybe even introspecting the feelings you have right now. What are you feeling about life, about your work, about your relationships, about different important things in your life, or different elements that are active in your life? And why do you feel that way about those things? Why do you do the things you're doing? Why do you retreat the way you retreat? Why do you say the things you say? Why do you respond to the things you respond to? Why do you order things the way you order them? Why are your priorities the way they are? These are very interesting questions, because they make you think and sit with your thoughts for a minute and begin to see how they're all connected and what that means to or for you. I hope this helps. I hope this gives you something to work with as you gain insight on yourself, because understanding yourself is one of the most important things you could do, because it allows you it allows you to meter or to measure or to grow through your experiences of life. Things don't just happen. There's always cause and effect. Where there's an effect, there is a cause. If you understand the correlation, then you can put things in the proper perspective, as I like to say. So go on, have a wonderful time, have a healing time, have a reflective time that hopefully brings things to the surface. And my hope also is that you'll be able to piece those things together, and it can help you to understand the bigger picture, not just focus on the little things that keep happening every now and then. Well, till the next one, remember to be safe, take care of yourself and your loved ones, and also remember to be love. Catch you in the next one.